Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for light, voices true, St. James Church in the heart of the blue. Breaking chains, singing new names, pushing through the night, feeling small, seeking the answers stall. Windows of gray, stained with hue.
All right, ready? Well, welcome to our 75th anniversary conversations. We're here with Rick and Phyllis Lolkus to talk about their time here at St. James. And so tell me, how did you guys become members at St. James?
I was raised in the Assembly of God Church.
Oh, okay.
Pentecostal. And it was a wonderful church. I mean, it truly was. They put the foundation in my heart, the faith and everything. But Assemblies of God are very charismatic.
Yes.
I mean, they would raise their hands and praise the Lord, and that's neat.
Yeah.
And it was just neat. But anyway, I started there when I was 5 years old, and in my 30s, the church started dissolving.
Oh.
So my brother was a Lutheran, and he was raised a Pentecostal in the Assembly of God, but then he went to the Lutheran church, and he loved the Lutheran church. So he always kind of wanted me to go, he and his wife. So I did, and the Lutheran church was different than the Pentecostal church, the Assembly of God.
Slightly, yeah.
Just a little bit different, you know what I'm saying. But the Lutheran church, both of them combined, Assemblies of God gave me the foundation, but they're also hellfire and damnation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I would go to bed every night just begging God to forgive me what I'd done, if I'd done anything, because if I died, I knew I would go to hell. So anyway, went to Lutheran church, and they teach about love, you know, and the grace of God, and it really was. And so I went there for several years, and then it's one in Gas City, and it started going down too.
Oh.
And in fact, at the end, there was ministers coming from Concordia up in Fort Wayne to lead it.
Oh, wow.
But it was really going down. So my mother, who basically stayed, you know, and she was God gave me a wonderful mother. She started going to another church and wanted me to go to it, and it was a good church. But then they were telling me about St. James.
Oh, okay.
So I came to St. James, and that was in 2004.
Oh.
I changed my membership, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. Cool.
Wonderful church. Wonderful church.
How about you?
Well, pretty much I was raised as a Lutheran.
Oh,
and
you were? Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is my confirmation picture. In June of 1962, I got
Can you pick him out?
confirmed with my best friends in the middle there, right by the crucifix.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'll just give you a hint.
I was just going to show him Don. Just Don, not you. That's his best friend.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'll give you a hint. I'm wearing a bow tie.
Oh, you're wearing, everyone's wearing bow tie.
That's the only hint I'm going to give you.
Oh, okay. Boy, I don't know.
It's hard. I can't even recognize myself, and I actually was there. So.
Which one are you?
Far right, second row down.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can see
Little
that
chubby
now.
cheek one.
I can see it now here. I'm going to show the
Yeah, it's
camera
kinda
that.
cool.
But we used to ride our bikes over. He lived a mile further away from the church than I did, and it was going down toward Lake St. Clair where we grew up.
Oh, okay.
And oftentimes,
No, that's in Wisconsin.
Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan,
Michigan. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
we would get on our bikes and ride to catechism.
Oh, wow.
And we started in 1961 and finished in 1962. We were 13 years old when we finished.
Oh, wow.
And he and I would ride our bikes and we'd discuss, it's such a beautiful day out. You know, are we going to go to catechism or are we going to ride our bikes further down to the lake and goof off? Well, most of the time we went to catechism, but every once in a while it was just too nice outside to do that, and we skipped it. But,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I was going to that church ever since probably when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
And I went to it. I went to the service, and then, of course, I left the area and never really went back.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, Lutheran has always been the church I went to. And if I went to other churches, I always felt sort of out of place. Like, it's not like the church I grew up in. And
Right. Right.
uh,
So how did you guys meet?
we met at work.
Because you were already Lutheran and you were joining Lutheran.
We were both Lutherans when we met.
Oh, okay.
I started in 2005 at St. James, and I went with her the
2004.
first time. And
Oh, okay.
And so we started coming here. But she
Oh.
started coming here in 2004, and then I joined her in 2005.
Oh,
Coming to
okay.
church every Sunday. And,
Okay.
and then we actually got married here in
Okay,
2010 by
Okay.
Pastor Carlson.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
that was really
Oh,
a
yeah.
good day. Wasn't
That
it?
was a good day. That was a great day. It really was.
We
Yeah.
had some folks that go to this church. Well, Nyla and Jerry predominantly helped us with.
They did the whole. They truly did the whole thing.
They
I mean,
did so much for getting the wedding together, and they
they
took some pictures, and they
coordinated
music
it.
and everything. They just were so good about helping us tie the knot.
Yeah, they went and picked out music back from like the 70s and the 80s, and Jerry put a disc together that was for our reception, and they did. They did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Truly, they did.
Phenomenal.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So now what roles now have you guys played here? What are some things you've done in the congregation?
I've been on the stewardship committee,
Oh, okay.
and then the women's ministry, the women's barbecue, the ladies' tea, Margot's blankets. You know, I just always enjoy all of that. And then for several years, 2 other ladies and I did the kids' bags.
Oh, okay. Okay, for worship. Yeah.
We would come in and do the bags and stuff, and we did that on up until COVID.
Oh.
And then we had to stop after the COVID. But you know, when I would come in here and get these kids' bags ready, it was really special to me because each bag I did, I would pray for the child that was going to get that bag.
Right.
You know, that the Lord would be with them and guide them and help them and stuff. And
Sure.
so I really enjoyed that, and I did that for several years. Now, and this really wasn't done by the church, but our church supported it. I was in Bible study here for 10 years. Now that was interdenominational.
Oh, yes. That Bible study was going when I got here, and then some of the ladies just kind of that were leading it said they couldn't do it anymore.
Well,
and so,
yeah, it started a lot of people. It was a lot of older ladies and stuff,
Yeah.
and you know, things happened, and it started going downhill too. But we went for 10 years,
Oh, wow.
and it really was, like I said, it was interdenominational. But the church was so good about letting us have it here.
Oh, sure.
I mean, every Tuesday we'd have Bible study here, and I just really enjoy that. Then the last several years, I've been what would you call the media representative?
Publicity. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put things in the paper for Sunday services and anything like blood drive. Oh, which makes me think too, I helped out on the Christmas walk too. I was a tour guide for 2 years.
Oh, okay.
On the Christmas, and that was good too. I enjoyed that. But anyway, this goes in the paper. Sometimes works out good, sometimes it doesn't. This last time when I put it in the paper, the only thing that got in there was Sundays till 3 p.m. we had ladies' Bible study, and that wasn't this week. That was the week before, and they left out the rest. But they do good most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's always, first thing I do when I get the paper on Saturdays is look at the paper and say, oh, did they get it in there okay?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's basically what I've done.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I used to come with Phyllis every night when she did the bags for the kids.
Oh, okay.
I had to
Yeah.
reassemble the puzzles.
Oh,
So she always put me to work when I came with her because she'd
You
come
have a
in.
hard time with those puzzles, trust me.
She came late at night. I didn't want her over in the church by herself, in the
Sure.
dark and stuff. So I'd come with her and assemble the puzzles, and then we'd put the bags on the hooks.
We
But
did.
then I was a reader for a while,
oh, okay.
and then I was a worship assistant, and then for 4 years I was the purchasing agent,
Right,
and
yeah.
bought everything that was needed for the church. Well, not everything, but a lot of the things that were needed for the church. And my goal was to save the church some money,
Right.
and I tried to find it on eBay, or I'd search the internet and get the best prices, and that was always a challenge.
Oh,
And
sure.
the church buys a lot of stuff. I was surprised at all the stuff they need to keep the operation going.
Yeah.
So I did that for 4 years and enjoyed it. But that was about it. After the puzzles, I was burned out.
Like I said, those were a struggle for him.
Yeah, they had like 8 pieces, you know. So
Yeah. yeah. I mentored this first grader over at Kindle, and sometimes we do puzzles, and I have a hard time because I want to do the puzzle, and it's trying to get, no, you got to do the puzzle. I'm thinking, oh, I can figure this out. No, the kid's got to do the puzzle.
right.
Yeah.
You want to kind of coach them a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
See that sharp edge right there.
Oh my
Do they
goodness.
still have the kids' bags?
Yes.
Okay, I just wonder about that because
Yeah, they do. I don't know. Yeah, and I'm not sure who they give them to, but
I'll have to look at that the next time I
Yeah,
go out
yeah.
and see.
yeah. So, what people have had a big impact on you here at St. James?
Actually, I truly cannot pinpoint anyone because, and I'm not just saying this, everybody here are wonderful. It's a family.
Yeah.
I mean, it just truly is a family. And honestly, they're just all so special to me. I mean, they really are. They all are. Of course, the ones I've known the longest is Nyla and Jerry, because Nyla and I went to the same church.
Oh, okay.
See,
Oh,
I
that's
never,
right,
I
that's
never
right.
remember meeting Nyla because we started the church when I was probably 5 years old, and Nyla was
Oh.
there. This is the Assembly of God. So of course, she's had such an impact, and I've seen what she's gone through all these years.
Mhm.
And Nyla's never complained, and she's always been there. Like, oh gosh, it's been 2004. I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer.
Mm.
So they had to go in and do a total thyroidectomy. And I remember she told the pastor that I was having that surgery, and it was a long one. It was 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
So that morning, she called up there to the hospital to make sure the pastor was there. He wasn't there. She called him at home. And he said, oh, I overslept. And she said, you need to be at the hospital because Phyllis is having that surgery. And he did. He came on right up after that. But I mean, she was so concerned. And then following that surgery, I had to have 30 radiation treatments.
Oh, wow.
And so Nyla, bless her heart, contacted all of our friends, and she knew I loved to cook. So she had somebody send me a card every day for 30 days with the recipe
Oh,
in it.
that's nice.
Oh, it was with the recipe. And I mean,
Yeah.
and here, you know, she was having issues with her foot and all this at the same time.
Sure.
But she's always put other foot forward.
Yeah.
She has. She's put her other foot forward to help me and so many other people, you know.
Yeah.
So I would have to say her just, and that goes back from
Sure.
history too.
Sure.
But then again, everybody here at the church truly is an inspiration to me. They really are.
Yeah.
You know. I'm done.
Well, I was going to say we've lost a lot of good people from the church, and one gentleman that really stands out, two of them actually that stand out in my mind, is Jim McClure. He actually relocated the audio-visual to the first floor. It used to be up on the second floor, and he either built it all by himself or he was the prime mover on getting that relocated to the first floor. And I thought he did a great job on rearranging our pews and putting it where it is. And but Jim was always just such a good Christian, and every Sunday I'd see him, and he'd always shake my hand, and we'd talk for a minute or two. And
he'd always sit across from you.
Right, we'd sit across the aisle from each other every Sunday for several years. And then the other gentleman that I really miss is Willis. He was 90-some years old when he finally passed away a year or two ago.
Yes.
And he was an old Navy guy.
Yeah.
And just a good-hearted man, and never said a bad word to anybody, and always had a smile on his face no matter how tough his condition was. And he finally ended up in a nursing home. But just a real good Christian.
Yeah. I arrived about the time they were moving him to the nursing home. I remember that.
That would be about right,
Yeah, really nice man. Yeah.
Oh, always had a smile, didn't he? Just.
Oh yeah.
Remember when you got him a GPS? Tell Pastor about
the
GPS.
Well, he was getting to the point where he didn't want to drive out of town because he'd get lost, and he could maybe find where he wanted to go, but then he couldn't find his way back home. So I said, well, I'm going to give you a GPS, and I'm going to have the church as home, and all you have to do is hit the home button, and it'll bring you right back to the church. And so I gave him the GPS and showed him how to use it. And I guess it's like us with Sports Illustrated and everything.
Oh yeah.
He was just too old to comprehend how to operate it. So it didn't really work out for him. But
well, his son was a basketball coach. His son was a basketball coach up in by Chesterton, Michigan.
Chesterton, Indiana. Yes.
I can't think of the place he was actually at. So that's where Willis needed a GPS, because he would go to Indianapolis sometimes with his son's team. That's what he said. He had a hard time. He'd get lost.
Yeah.
And you gave him the GPS to help him from Indianapolis and stuff. It wasn't around here. It was when he went to other cities and stuff.
Yeah. But being complex, you had to hit a few buttons here and there, and then you had to it would finally get you where you wanted to go, but he didn't like operating it, so it didn't work out, but we tried.
Good man.
So what events through the years stand out with stories, funny stories, or just stories in general?
Well, the one that better stand out, we got married here.
Oh, yeah.
So that will always be something special. I mean, that really was that. We just had our family and our friends and our kids stood up with us.
Oh, okay.
They were the ones that stood up with us when we got married. And it's the funniest thing, though. My two sons stood with me, and his daughter and son stood with him. And after the wedding was over, everybody took off real quick to the reception. They didn't mess around here. And when it came time for us to sign the marriage license, everybody was gone. And Niall and Jerry were the ones that were still here, and they're the ones that did the wedding. And so they signed our marriage license. So that was kind of cool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's the big event that stands out in my mind here at the church.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you better, right?
But yeah, that was really, I really did. Pastor prayed and stuff,
Oh, yeah, I remember what Pastor Carlson said to me right before. I mean, we were already pretty much up there, and he goes, she's going to be a challenge. I'm going, now you tell me. I didn't think so at the time.
So she has been a challenge?
What did she say?
She's been a blessing for me.
Oh, so. God. Speak up, honey. I don't think we heard that.
But when he said that, it was like, really?
He was teasing.
He was not teasing.
So, any other stories?
I really can't think of. I mean, everything has always been wonderful. I mean, as far as stuff we've done here.
Yeah, it was interesting to see how pastors are replaced, the process that the church goes through to select a new pastor when somebody moves on, like when Pastor Carlson moved over to Ohio, I think it was.
Yeah, he's in Ketchner by Dayton.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's a long process, and we had several temporary pastors before we had a couple of permanent pastors, and then now you, which is really nice. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a 4 to 6 week process if you get a call to even the whole process. But then the call process for a congregation can be anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half to almost 2 years sometimes.
Wow.
It just depends on the situation, but yeah.
I remember one thing that Rick brought out at a meeting. When you lose a pastor, especially if they've been here several years, you lose a lot of history.
Yeah.
Because some of those pastors, if they're long enough, they see a baby born, that they marry that child as they get older. So a lot of history leaves when a pastor leaves, if they've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, to the extent that, I mean, when a pastor's been long term, they usually now try to put in an interim between him and the next pastor, because the purpose is to get the congregation to realize there's a change coming, and the new guy's not going to be like the old guy, and that's hard, for congregations to kind of absorb.
Yeah.
And
we had Brother Miller. Remember, Pastor Miller came.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was from Michigan, wasn't he? And he was retiring.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And he came here for a year. And you're right, to get the transition going.
Yeah.
And that was a good idea because, like you said, they're different. Pastors are different.
Yeah.
But he was here, I think, approximately a year.
Yeah.
And he was very good. He was like which is very good, he was like a teaching person.
Oh, okay.
Like he would have visuals up there.
Oh, okay.
And point to visuals and things like that. And he was very good. And honestly, Pastor, I'm not just saying this because we're doing this, but your sermons truly are wonderful.
Oh,
when in the Assemblies of God, I swear I don't think the minister thought they were doing a good job unless they preached 60 minutes.
Oh,
I'm not kidding. And I mean, it was the jumping up and down the bike, but and they would yell it out and stuff. But I mean, it was good.
yeah.
But like with you, I mean, you go away learning something. I hear what you're saying.
Oh.
But Pastor Miller was good, but he was like a teaching person, I thought. Did you?
Yeah.
How he explained things. Very good. Very good.
Any other things? Stories?
I can't think of any stories.
So how have things changed through the years that you've been here?
Well, one was the moving the audiovisual booth from the second floor to the first floor, and I think that was to accommodate a gentleman that was in a wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
Keith, I think, was having a hard time getting up to the second floor. So that was the prime mover for moving it down to the first floor.
Oh, okay.
And I guess I never realized how much work went behind making everything happen in the audiovisual booth.
Yeah.
A lot of work goes on there to make it seamless, and especially before we had this really good guy playing the piano and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really a good find for the church.
Yeah, and he basically just walked in. Well, he contacted us by email, but he was contacting everybody by email. And we just responded back to him. And then he came down here, because he lives in Peru. He came down here just to check us out after he moved from California. And he didn't immediately jump on the idea. He came down, arranged to play for us a little bit and to decide if they were going to do it. And yeah, he's wholeheartedly jumped in now.
Yeah.
So
It's been such a blessing.
it has been.
Oh, now that was a change. Our organist, oh my gosh, I can't remember her. Sue.
Sue, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. And then Linda, who they both have passed.
Yeah.
And those were big changes in our church because they were so good and so dedicated always here.
Yeah.
And we worked with Sue at the VA.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful lady. She worked in recreation and played the piano for the patients, and just a wonderful, wonderful lady. So that was hard when they passed. But I can't remember the man's name that plays now, but Phil does a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful. Now that to me was a God calling. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, it has been. He's been very easy to work with, and he's retired Missouri Synod pastor, and so it's been good to work with.
Didn't he come from Michigan? Am I thinking?
No, he's from California.
Oh.
He actually grew up in California too, and then he went to seminary in Fort Wayne and met his wife, Cindy. She's from here, and so they ended up cross country, retired in California, and moved back to be near her mom.
Oh.
So we have to thank Cindy for
Yeah.
bringing him back, because he's a California boy. He grew up in Southern
Boy,
California.
this would be a culture shock, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Even for Rick coming from Michigan to hear is a culture shock.
Yeah.
I think you like it here now, don't you, sweetie?
Well, it's a lot warmer than Michigan. And
Yeah. Michigan is, because I served a year in Michigan as a vicar in the thumb of Michigan up in Sibawing on Saginaw Bay, and that's a different state than Indiana and Ohio. I mean, I liked it. It's more, I think of it as the Idaho of the Midwest, because in both places everybody's wearing camouflage all the time. You go to Idaho, they're wearing camouflage. You go to Michigan, it's like, oh, this is Idaho, because they're all wearing camouflage.
Outdoor sports is a big thing up there.
It is. It's huge.
It's
huge.
Is that the Upper Peninsula?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Both. That's
Yeah, I was surprised when I served as vicars. I thought, man, these people are outdoors just like people in Idaho are. I mean, it is a different Midwest state.
The license plates used to say Water Winter Wonderland.
Oh.
And maybe they still do, but everybody would go up there snowmobiling, deer hunting, water sports, anything you can think of on the water.
Yeah.
It happens there. And they have so many phenomenal lakes, the Great Lakes, of course, and even Lake St. Clair that I grew up maybe a couple miles away from. Just super water recreation wherever you go in Michigan. So it was hard coming to Indiana where they say, here's a big lake. And I look at it and go, that's not even a lake in Michigan.
You can see the other side.
You can see the other side.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, very true.
So any other changes you've seen through the years?
Well, I really appreciate that we take care of our handicapped parishioners. We have a lot of handicapped parking.
We do.
And everybody is willing to help them get in and out of the building. And we have several 90-year-olds that come in every Sunday. And even when the weather's bad, they seem to make it. And that's just kind of neat to see that happening.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them drive themselves here too.
Yeah.
That's
an inspiration to me, really.
That is. It is.
Mm-hmm. I never thought about that, but that's true. That's really an inspiration.
Yeah. So, how has St. James impacted your faith walk?
Well, I've always had faith. I mean, truly, having God in my life and believing in God is like the air I breathe. He's always there. I can't say, I don't know how to say this. It's impacted my life. But every church, which actually, tell you the church, I've only been about maybe 3 main churches, have always impacted my life because God was there.
Right.
See, that's it. God was there. So he's just, from the time I get up in the morning to the time I go to bed, I don't pray, I talk to him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I pray before I go to bed,
Sure,
before meals. But literally, I just have conversations with God. And he's got to have a sense of humor to deal with me. Bless his heart, he's got to have a sense of humor. So, I mean, so St. James, yes, the people impacted my life. The sermons have impacted my life. Just walking into the church, you can feel the presence of God. That's one reason when we did the children's bags, it always felt good being in here. Just us being in here, you could always feel the presence of God.
Yeah.
You know, Rick and I have talked about this. I said, if I ever felt like I couldn't feel the presence of God, then I know something is wrong. But so the people have impacted my life here. They're all so loving and kind and just good people. But St. James, it's just I don't know how to say it, it's just a wonderful church. I can always feel the presence of God. So but it's really had a big impact on my life. It really has.
So when you came in from an Assembly of God church, how did that change from the way they worship to our liturgical structure affect you? How did you adjust to it, I guess is
Well, actually, I really appreciated this more.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I appreciated the other church, but I think, how can I put this? This was more, not the word religious, I don't want to use respectful.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's the word. But I was, some of the God, like I said, they raised their hands
Sure.
and everything like that. Yeah. And I like that I did. But this, I think, is a little bit more, a lot of churches are just spur of the moment things.
Okay. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They're just spur of the moment, and stuff. This is more respectful, I think.
Oh, okay.
It just feels holy.
Oh, okay.
If that's the word I'm looking for. Okay. But there is quite a bit of difference in the churches. But still, this one, or any of your Lutheran churches, I just think it's more time to reflect. Okay. There's not so much activity going on around you.
Oh, okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Because sometimes the other churches, like Assembly of God, are busy churches.
Yes.
They're very busy churches. But the Lutheran is respectful. And I can just always feel God's presence here. So it's had a big impact on my life. I mean, really. I've actually felt like I've drawn closer to God. Mm-hmm. I really feel this like since coming here, and like I said, I've been a Christian my whole life, but I just feel like coming here, I have drawn closer to the Lord. Okay. I don't know what, but It is, but I just feel good when I come and when I leave. I feel bad for people that go to church and when they leave, they don't feel any better. Oh, See, that's the idea to me of going to church. I want to come out feeling better than when I go in. Yeah. And I feel bad for people that don't have that peace in their heart. Every day when I get up, first thing I do is thank God for dying on the cross. Thank God for giving me the day. And then I ask Him to be with us, our kids. Then I always ask the Holy Spirit to come down to give me peace of mind, peace of heart, and all over contentment. And that other people will feel this peace when they're around me. So, but the church has just had a wonderful impact on me.
How about you?
Well, for me, St. James has been like a continuation of First English Lutheran up in Michigan.
Sure.
Just the peace and stability and presence of God wherever I go has always been there, and it just makes me feel better about the world around me when I have that in my life, and I just think that it's been a blessing to have that.
Yeah, blessing, you're right. That is it. It's a blessing.
So, what are your hopes for St. James' future?
That it grows. Mm-hmm. That the church grows. That we not only have people come in, be members, but have people come in to draw closer to God. So that's one of the main things is that the church will continue to grow and reach out to the community, and people will find the peace and the blessing that we find when we go here. So I think that's my hope is that and we get more young people in.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he's sort of getting older here. But that we get, I don't know why it is, but it seems like the young people, they move on, I guess.
Yeah, they say that what is it? I can't remember the numbers now, but you lose 75 to 80% of your youth by age 19.
Oh.
So it just, because they just, once they leave for go to college or whatever, they get disconnected from that if they haven't already left. So that's what they're putting the numbers. If you're having kids in the congregation, you can expect to keep about 20% of them as adults. That's the current Barna numbers, which is kind of sad, but the question is, how do you reverse that? And it's that the kids they're becoming what they call nuns, None. They have no religion. So, and that's kind of spreading. You can see it in big areas such as like Portland, Oregon, or even where I was at in Phoenix, where you will see mid-30-year-old couples walking down the road with their dog, and they have no children, and they have no religion, no faith, and that's how they live. That's a huge percentage of that age group right now.
Well, I think part of the importance of the church, though, is to plant the seed when they're young.
Yes.
And they might leave when they're 18 or 19, but then they might come back later on. And that actually happened to me. For a while, when I left for the military and then college, I really didn't have much time or money to go to church. And but then I came back, and I always knew I would, but I just didn't know when. And so I think that happens. I don't know what the percentages are, but I think that happens too.
Yeah, and I think that's what we say is important. We're planting that seed so that even when they do, at some point, when they have children or whatever, they'll be led back to that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the numbers are pretty dismal, but we got to keep planting the seed and keep doing that. So.
Well, just like for us now, we have a son in Valparaiso, one in New York, and one in Delaware. With job situations, they're mobile and they leave home.
Oh, sure.
Years ago, we didn't leave home.
Right.
We all, like, I had two brothers. We all stayed here and married, except one of my brothers later in life moved. But usually stayed where you grew up.
Right.
Well, now it's not that way because of jobs. They have to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very mobile society.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And a society that changes jobs frequently. Even what they do for a job is now becoming more frequent, that people don't stay in one occupation, and so, yeah, it's a confusing world.
It is. The time changes. I don't know if I like all the changes
either,
but time changes and things and stuff.
Yeah. So is there anything I didn't ask you or that you wanted to share that you had written down or on your mind?
I can't think of a whole lot that you haven't touched upon as far as spiritual relationship to the church. The church is a building, but I think we all come together to make it more than that.
Oh, yeah.
And then as our spiritual leader, you really help out with that. So we're thankful for what we have. At least I am.
Yes. Oh, very thankful.
And I feel good about our church, so
yes.
that makes a big difference too.
I do too. Wonderful people. I am, like we just touched on, concerned though. A lot of our members are older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what the average age is here.
I don't know either, but just looking at the ages and I look at who are young families, and our young families are not young families in their 20s. They're young families in their 30s entering their 40s. And so that's why we do have to concentrate on young people, because the young families are soon going to become the middle-aged families, and there's no young families behind them, or at least their kids are not going to be that until quite a while. So
I'm sure it's just not our church. I'm sure other churches are going through this too.
It is. In some churches, you can walk in and not just Lutheran, but other churches, and pretty much everybody's over 60.
Oh,
It's very common, very common.
some of your bigger churches here in Marion, in fact, one that I'm thinking of in particular, it was huge, and now it's just down. Used to have 2 services, now it's just down to 1, and even that's not completely.
Right.
The congregation is not full or anything. So I think it's just a lot of churches are having this issue
Yeah.
and stuff, unfortunately. And then, like I said, I think Marion's a lot smaller than it used to be, too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking at one time, years and years ago, probably when I was a teenager, but I think and it wasn't that long ago either, sweetie. But anyway, I think it was close to 40,000.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, now you've had all our industries to leave, and so that's had a really an impact on our churches
Right.
when these industries left and people had to move and find other jobs.
Right.
You know?
One thing I have noticed is many of the worker bees in our church are older people.
Yes. Yes.
And they're not going to be around forever, and as they can't do what they've been doing, we're going to have a problem with ladies doing the dinners and
Yeah, that's a good example.
the men that prepare the altar for communion, and from every little detail that you can think of, it's usually the older guys that are doing the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's something we definitely need to concentrate on, because you're right. You're right.
And you just hit on something too that's had a good impact on me. Is these ladies that do our dinners and stuff, the funeral dinners, anything that comes up, these ladies are back there getting everything ready.
They do a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal job. I mean, they just do a wonderful job. And like you said, they're getting older too, and they can't. Yeah. But
I've said that, many times. I'll ask in the Wednesday night program that we have during Wednesday nights, I said, well, who are the most important people in the Wednesday night program? It's the cooks, because there's no dinner without them, and nobody's coming if there's no dinner. And so, or at least not a lot of people are. And so it's not me and a couple of people that are teaching, it's the cooks. And so we need to make sure we take care of them, because they're getting older.
And they never complain.
No, they do not.
I drop dishes off. They're back there just working up a storm.
Yeah.
They never complain. They know where everything is at. And I said, they're angels of our church.
Yeah.
They're just angels of our church. But there's somebody here like that too.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Well, sure.
Having you guys.
This has been a good idea.
Yeah, it's been good.
We had to study before we came here.
You had to study.
We watched a few of them. We crammed in a few of them the other days.
Yeah, they're all different. That's for sure.
Rick was talking about, I was telling about how God does help us. He said, I've got a picture here of Phyllis of when I was first confirmed. Now, he said, where is it? And we looked and looked. And this sounds crazy, but I said, now, God, can you help us find that? I was back there in my closet, and it was just like it came to me, where it was.
Oh.
And we went and found it and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been buried for many, many years, and just in the last few, I've located it, and I was really happy to find it again.
Yeah. That's a big confirmation class.
It was a good class. Yeah. And they were from all different middle schools. We were like in middle school, I think, when we were going through that.
Oh, sure.
Probably 7th grade, maybe.
7th, 8th, yeah. Probably. Yeah.
And they were all from different middle schools, so a lot of the kids we'd never seen before, and a few of them we had. But,
so they just weren't from your church?
They were from our church, but they were from different middle schools. The suburb where I grew up is very concentrated. A lot of people live there. Of course, Detroit's a huge city.
Oh, sure.
But there were, and it was the baby boom going on.
Oh, yeah.
The post-World War II baby boom.
Yeah, it's lots of
kids. We were the first crop after the World War II guys got back from the war, and so we're called baby boomers. Which is describes it exactly. But there were a lot of kids. When I was in high school, we had to share lockers. Our high school wasn't really built for. We had 3,000 kids in our high school, over 1,000 in my graduating class.
Wow.
There were so many that they finally built a second high school. But when I was in high school, we had to share lockers, and the guy I shared with was a heavy smoker, and it just reeked in my
high school.
In high school. And I hated that. I'm a non-smoker. I didn't like the smell of his jacket hanging in there. So yeah, we adapted. And,
Sure.
you know.
Well, thanks for joining us for our 75th anniversary talk, and we will see you next time. Peace out.
Walking these streets, shadows fall, lost in a world, echoes call, searching for life, voices true. St. James Church in the heart of the blue. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names, pushing through the night, feeling small, seeking the answers stall, windows of gray, stained with hue, where mission shines through. Glorify God, nurture all, share the gospel, hear the call. That is what we do at St. James, breaking chains, singing new names. Heartbeats pounding, truth revealed. In the silence, wounds are healed. Faith in motion, spirits move. In this place we find our groove. In the dark,